Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win!
Don't you open your mouth about the best, or I'm gonna shut it for you real quick. LOB.
Listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Lewis gets it to LeBron for three for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer.
Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
What was your mindset when you stepped in the batter's box?
Go yard. I mean, I'm a pitcher. Why not swing as hard as I can? I got nothing to lose.
It's nothing to man above. Don't put you in situations that you can't handle. Instead of saying, why me? They're saying this is what he want me to do. And, Cleveland! This is for you!
The way we approach the game is the same way we approach life. You do the right thing. You make the right play. Make the right play. And in life, it's the same thing. What do you feel in your heart is the right thing to do? And you do that. You know, it seems so simple, but sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things to do. And I think it's just that.
Welcome to
What?
The game.
Me.
To me.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What the Game Means to Me. I'm one half of the pod, obviously, Jelani Brown. Got my co-host with me again today. How you doing, Thad?
Pretty good, man. Excited for the start of the regular season. Ready to talk some football and college football week one. Well, week one. I mean, week 0 was 2 weeks ago, but week one. Yeah, so ready to get to it.
Sure, for sure. Of course, like we said, I know you happy. FSU Seminoles. They say they back. I don't know. I guess it's only week one. Can't get too excited, but they look better than my Gators for sure. But it's definitely exciting week one of college football. A lot of good games was on. A lot of big wins, big losses, surprise, team outings just in general. But real quick before we hop on, obviously we got the three main games I think most of us saw on the screen that we're going to hit on. But any thoughts on week one that you saw? Like I said, we're going to probably get into some surprise teams and obviously some of the playmakers that performed on Saturday. But just any initial thoughts that you had going into week one, and did any teams kind of prove those thoughts right or wrong?
No, I was just excited to have football back. I didn't really have too many exciting thoughts. In week one, anything can happen. The team that most people project to pick the Natty could lose. You just never know what's going to happen. I felt good about my team, but, leaving week one, I was surprised at the amount of talent that the Pac-12 showed and that the good quarterback play, all around the nation. Most people just talk about Drake May and Caleb Williams, but you got Michael Penix, you got Jordan Travis, you got Stuart Sanders, you got a whole bunch of guys putting up numbers. Mordecai, the guy, the transfer from SMU that went to Wisconsin. Just a whole lot of good quarterback play all around. So it's looking like it's going to be an exciting season and exciting 2024 draft class. So, yeah, for me, that's really what I saw. But a lot of good football. Some games disappointed. Yeah. Obviously, the primetime games disappointed, but I was just excited to have football back overall. So I was going to watch regardless of what happened.
For sure. Like you said, the primetime games are the main ones. I guess the ranked ones that kind of disappoint. I mean, y'all gave us a good first half, I would say, FSU, LSU, but that second half, y'all kind of dominated. Y'all put y'all foot on their throat. And it came out and y'all were just clicking on all the chords. And then obviously the game yesterday, I don't think many was expecting that. But I mean, a few people I think might have called that. I think I don't know. Personally, when I was looking out on the field yesterday, the Clemson-Duke game, I didn't think their skill position. One, I know you said it too in the chat. You was like, the skill position guys ain't helping the quarterback at all. Like fumbling left and right, dropping passes. I think Shipley and somebody else was the cause of 2 interceptions. So they just looked terrible. And all in the red zone too. So it's like, but the main thing I was getting at was like, it seems like their skill position, like recruiting kind of went down. Like I haven't seen no T. Higgins or Justin Ross out there in a minute. I mean, Shipley is pretty good. He's a big, I guess, compared to Christian McCaffrey, but I mean, I don't know. It's really just him. I don't think they have like a kind of like a back by committee type thing like they've had in the past. And obviously quarterback wise, they don't have a Trevor Lawrence. They don't have a Deshaun Watson. They don't have guys that have been in those positions to lead those teams. So kind of, I guess we'll start at that game and then kind of work our way around to the other ones. But what did you kind of see yesterday? Like I said, just an abysmal of a game.
You really hit most of it, on the head. Clemson in the recruiting is not diminished, it's going downhill. They're not hitting the portal, they're not hitting JUCO, and that's where it's at. The portal is where it's at. Deion showed that a lot of schools are flipping their rosters. They haven't had that guy, you're right, since the T. Higgins, Justin Ross, or Mari Rogers, any of those type guys.
Yeah.
Like, I know people blame DJ a lot, but his receivers weren't separating. The system was pretty vanilla.
Mm-hmm. It showed yesterday.
It's not the same. Yeah, a lot of guys dropping balls. Will Shipley's probably their best offensive player. He had a fumble, but just in key positions, like in the second half alone, their first 3 drives resulted in 2 fumbles and a missed field goal, all in Duke territory. They could have all resulted in 3. They could have scored anywhere from 9 to 21 points, and they came away with nothing. And Duke got points off some of those turnovers. So it was just really a sloppy game. For the longest, Duke was kind of not handing it to them, but letting them, take it because they weren't doing anything really offensively outside of a few big plays. And it was 13-7 for the longest, and then they finally just, pulled away. And Clemson's defense isn't even that bad. That's the crazy thing about it. I think their defense is going to be fine. Their offense just has to get it together.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the fumbles can go away. That's something you could minimize. And the drops, too. But you just got to work. You just got to work at it. Maybe some of those guys aren't the guy.
Yeah.
We'll find out real soon.
Exactly. But moving on from that, like I said, they went from, I think, they were ranked 9th last night. I think they're 25th now with the new rankings that came out. So,
one more thing. Hold on. One more thing. My fault.
The big dogs in the AFC. I knew you had to hit on it.
It's not even that. I'm just glad that we play them early on in the season. So hopefully they don't get it together until mid-season. We play them, I think, week 4, week 5. So, yeah, I'm glad we get them early on in the season while they're, going through a little stuff. Maybe QB change, maybe Dabo overreacts.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I'm glad we play them.
I feel like you're going to catch them at the right time.
Yeah, we play them at Death Valley, so we need all the advantages we can get.
For sure. Yeah, I feel that. But real quick, I guess before we hit on the other games, of course, we're going to hit on Travis Hunter. That's what I've been wanting to talk about. Got our guy in the building, off the ball president, Chris LeBron. How you doing today, sir?
Yo, I know Thad is hyped this week. And Clemson lost, so it's a good week.
Not for your Hurricanes, but good week for the football. We're feeling good. And like I told G before you hopped on, I'm glad we played early on in the season.
Miami, Ohio was talking reckless. They were talking reckless, so we had to shut them up. So
Miami of Ohio. That's hilarious.
Miami, Ohio, the real Miami, and they scored 3 points.
More like my Gators too. Looking like we was on the score at any points, but we made it to 11. We got double digits. We got double digits, but now that was
the momentum off the documentary, and they just.
I didn't even watch it. I ain't even watched it yet. I knew it. Once I heard y'all say it was poo, I already knew they was gonna vanilla it. I didn't think they was gonna really give us what we needed from it. So, I feel like I've gathered enough stories.
You watch more college football than I do. Duke, I know they got a new coach last year, and it seems like they won 9 games last year. Do you think they're on the right path? It seems like it. They look like this isn't the Duke. I remember the kids I went to high school with, a couple kids went to Duke and they were trash. They were 2 wins, 1 win. This ain't the same Duke. Even the fans, it seemed like it's a different energy in Durham now.
Yeah, even towards the end of David Cutcliffe being there, they were trending upwards. Obviously, he'd been there for a long time and he had to be let go. But yeah, they were trending upwards. This is not the Duke I know. When I was in middle school, they couldn't even make extra points. They couldn't even find a field goal kicker.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to judge off week 1, in my opinion, because I don't know if Clemson is that bad or they just look bad. They would drop balls.
Bad turnovers.
Yeah, they could win the game. I feel like if they really just capitalize on stuff like that. But I don't know. We got to.
It felt like they, like you said, it felt like they had times. They had times to win the game.
Yeah. No, Clemson just fumbled every time it mattered too.
They got in their territory. It was just giving the ball back. I don't know. Their defense, like I said earlier, their defense played well in my opinion.
Yeah.
Really to let them down.
As you guys mentioned before, they just don't got the playmakers like they used to. They used to have dogs at wide receiver, first round picks.
Great skill position. Now they rely on one guy.
First round pick running. It seems like their skill positions have definitely fallen off.
Yeah,
for sure.
But of
well.
course, the one like you said, oh well. I'm a halfway Carolina fan. I'm mainly a Tar Heel for basketball season, but I look at them for football. So I got a little hope there. We're going to rest on the Gators today. But since we're segueing into that little Drake May, I guess, combo, what did you think about that game versus South Carolina? And what did you think about I was impressed, obviously, with the defense of North Carolina. The last few years, they've been god awful on that side of the ball. Like they're basically was winning games by outscoring people. Like they give up like 30 something and then somehow was able to get 40. So I think I had 9 sacks on Spencer Rattler.
His ass.
So like I said, they got to with I guess with Gene Chizik. I think he's the defensive coordinator down there. So they were able to get a little bit of pressure that we haven't seen in past years. And offensively, they looked okay. I think they'll look a little bit better once they get Tez in the picture. But overall, what y'all think about that game and just the quarterback battle that was supposed to be?
Oh yeah, it was a solid game overall. Like I said earlier, it's week 1, so some teams are going to come out real jittery. Drake May, like he had some bad plays, but he had some good plays at the same time. And the defense, I would say, carried them. They had 9 sacks. Yeah. Like if you just look at the box score, you think that Spencer Rattler played a great game. He was like 30 for 39. Mm-hmm. They really couldn't get nothing going. It was a back and forth game, and then UNC pulled away when their defense took over. And like you said, in years past, they aren't really known for defense, but they were able to put pressure on the South Carolina offense and not allow them to get a momentum over the course of the game. And then they were able to get out to a lead. South Carolina came back a little bit, but in the end, it wasn't enough. But I think Drake May will be better. It was week 1, so. I think if this was like week 5 or week 6, they would have won by more. But the offense wasn't, completely in sync. And they were missing their transfer receiver from Kent State, like you said, the one that got out. So,
it is. Yeah. But other than that, we'll move on to what we all really want to talk about, or what's all been storming the internet past few days. One of our guys, how we would normally say from the North, he's not really from Florida, but obviously he went to Collins Hill. Number 1 player in his draft or in his class a year ago, 2 years ago. Both sides of the ball, just a dog. That's why they put that D on his chest. Travis Hunter, Colorado Buffaloes. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people were kind of downplaying it a little bit. How okay they played A.K. Walker. Definitely have to throw his name out. Just be hating all the time. You gotta. It wouldn't be a normal day.
Walker underestimating something? Don't say.
Wouldn't be a day if we didn't hear a little bit of hate from Walker. So Walker, I feel like they didn't really want to give him their credit. I mean, there was definitely others like him that we saw throughout social media. But just overall, I mean, I enjoyed the game. Like, if there wasn't, I just enjoyed the game. It was good back and forth. Obviously, offense. Yeah, I mean, that's what we know in the Big 12. It's just offense. Like both defenses couldn't stop a nosebleed. And TCU was supposed to be better coming in defensively, and corner wise and safety wise, that was supposed to be a strong suit, and they were just getting torched by everybody. You can't claim that you're better defensively and give up 4 100 yards or four different players get 100 yards. So, but overall, was we expecting this? Did you think a lot of people said if you was paying attention the last few years to FCS that you would have known this was coming. But still, I mean, I guess not to this magnitude. But what did you think, Perez? Like, just Travis Hunter, like I said, just the dog out there. 120 snaps.
I love it.
I love it.
And then, just him after the game, just being humble, too. Like, I think he was on his Twitch stream or whatever he was streaming. Mm-hmm. And he's just cool. It's and I love it. And I don't think the 100 snaps is sustainable. I think everyone's going to have to figure out how to, cut it down because I think that's going to be a little bit too much for him. But, they needed him because, like I said, Colorado's defense is just food. They were just going to get up. TCU was giving up 100 points total, I think, in their last 2 games. Yeah. Including the chip, the natty. They're getting up 100 points plus. So that defense is but Colorado, man, I love that Dion is messing with the system and people are freaking like the whole captain thing, like the dog. Yeah. It's usually just captain, and it's just we got my dogs, and I got my leaders.
Yeah, leader.
It's people don't like that, and the worst thing for other schools is Colorado having some type of success this year because kids are gonna look at Colorado and see how much fun they're having and how Dion and the guys will be going to the pros. The recruiting is going to just he's going to have the top number one class, the top 5 class every year as long as he's at Colorado, because now teams are going to be like, there's got to be schools that were like they were like halfway in on Dion and be like, oh, why didn't we pull the trigger? Colorado doesn't even have the money to pay him.
They didn't even have one. They didn't even have one.
They don't have the money. They're like, we'll find it. Trust me. And now you don't think the donors are like, hell yeah, we're going to give you the money to go pay. You better. We need a raise already. You got to give them a raise, because you best believe there's going to be schools that are going to throw the bag at Dion, and maybe even the NFL. So the teams that Dion is just he's creating a culture that's different. Colorado made the best decision ever to hire this man, because that program was dead. What, they won half a game last year? They were garbage, and that the facilities are going to be state of the art now. The stadium's probably going to get renovations. They're going to have like an SEC stadium soon because of Dion. It's just, I know it's one game and we could have the overreactions, but that was a big one game,
yeah.
And that's because they were true underdogs, and I think most people thought TCU.
They were a 20-point underdog.
I think Colorado. People thought Colorado would compete, but not the way. Shedeur looked like a Heisman guy. Like, I know it's just one. It looked like a Heisman guy. Like, it was really impressive and all that. And to have the most 89 new players or something crazy like that.
It was 81. That's
81.
That's crazy. Like,
literally a whole new team.
And John, you coach basketball and all that. Like, imagine having a whole new roster to coach. Like, it's gonna take you a minute to adjust to that. Yeah. And Dion against the team that was the runner-up for the national championship at their crib won with a whole new roster, some JUCO kids and a bunch of that, and got them a win over TCU.
Yeah,
that's big. That's a big win. It's gonna be he's gonna flip a lot of kids. So a lot of kids will be like, hell, I ain't going to Florida or whatever. I'm going to Colorado. Colorado's gonna be at the spot, but they're going to the Big 12, right? So it's gonna be that was a massive win and all that. They might lose next week by 20, whatever. But it might happen. Who they play? Nebraska. Or Matt Rule. So. But that was a big win, and that was a feel good win. That Dion is doing something that's different, and I love it. I love to see it. So I think a lot of people are low key. You either hate, for whatever reason, you hate Colorado, or you're low key rooting for them, even if you have your own team. I think some of us are like, we actually rooting for Colorado to like do it. We want Dion to like show these people like you could do it, his way, and a lot of people are gonna be scared. So I love it.
Me personally, I was surprised in every single aspect. Like, I know Prime is Prime, and he's won everywhere he's went, but I still expected them to lose. I'm like, it's going to take maybe halfway through year one for them to get it together, but it was like straight out the gate. First drive, 3 and out. First drive, go 70 yards down the field. And then I'm like, okay, like every time TCU responded and the momentum was on their side, Colorado responded. Like, if they weren't ready for the moment, they could have easily folded. They were like 9 of 15 on 4th down, and it was just play after play. And it wasn't even Travis Hunter, too. I mean, it was the little running back, the true freshman that they stole from Notre Dame. Yeah. What's the dude's name from USF? Jimmy Horn Jr. I like him. He's going to be tough.
He's tough.
He's good. You had number 10 go for 100, too. And then, like, on defense, they made timely plays. Like, obviously, they were getting gashed. In the second half, it was just like they would have a 12-play drive, and then TCU was scoring 4 plays, and the offense is back on the field. I'm like, for the first time in my life, like, I might say the offense is tired, not the defense.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But, like, I don't know. They just kept responding every single time they had to make a play, and it was the trenches surprised me, too, because I know that was a question coming in. But the offensive line, like, he got sacked a couple times, but for the most part, like, he was having time to get to his second and third read, and just overall I was impressed with everything, their time management and everything. And then obviously Travis Hunter playing 120 plays. He did that in high school, but like I didn't expect him to literally do it the exact same way. Like this man, he was not coming off the field. Every time they needed to play on offense, they would go to him. He was the number one. It wasn't even like he was coming in for gadget plays, catching a screen or a reverse. He was in the offense. He was running
Yeah.
Like he was doing everything, and obviously it can't last forever. But I know, like, if I know anything, I know like during the week he's not practicing that much. He might practice on Wednesdays, but on Thursdays and Tuesdays he's just in shells walking through. So it's not sustainable for the NFL, but for now it's working and it's exciting. Like we've never seen anything like this. Obviously, we've seen Charles Woodson, we've seen Miles Jack, but Miles Jack is probably the closest because Miles Jack played a lot on offense too. But Travis Hunter is the only person I've seen like he's staying there for a whole drive, like, and then going back to defense. Like, not staying there for 3 plays. He's in the entire drive. He's the focal point of the offense.
11 catches or something like that.
11 catches for 119.
And then had an interception on and a bunch of pass breakups. Like, that's impressive. That's impressive, man. Like,
he could have had a second pick. He dropped that. And then he dropped it. So the game could have. He dropped the 50-yard bomb too. Like his stat line would have been crazy if he would have caught that and had that other pick.
And then the other touchdown that got overturned.
I forgot about that.
No, that was a great win and all on the road too. Like that's just going to give your team a lot of momentum. And like I said, that's the worst thing that could have happened was Dion winning week 1.
I have a question for y'all. Like, do you guys just think I think this, you probably think this too, but does it just piss people off because it's like prime and he's like African American? He's not arrogant, but he's like confident in himself. Like he's doing his own way. He's like, I'm gonna come to Power 5. I'm gonna bring my whole team my way and win. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna piss everybody off.
No, because listen, guys, you guys know everything. College football has been a certain way for the last how many years? 100+ years, right? Been the same way. The coaches are all the same. They all do the same post game. Everything is the same. How they recruit is the same. Dion is Dion. The way he was on the field in high school, the way he was at Florida State, the way he was with the Falcons, the Cowboys, the 49ers. He's the same way. When he coached Prime, when he was at Prime, coaching at Jackson State, he's the same way. People think he was going to – no, he's going to be that way. People are just not used to this. Everybody falls in line, right, when they become a coach or they play in the NFL. He doesn't. He's doing it his way. They keep questioning this man. Oh, well, he can't do it at the Power 5 level and all that. At Jackson State, whatever. No, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And people, they don't like how he does it. He's going to steal your recruits without even trying because he's Deion Sanders. And all they got to do is go into the living room and get Dion in there. And guess what? He's going to flip someone. He did it. He did it already. He's done it a bunch of times. Is this going to keep happening? So coaches don't like that because guess what? They're scared. You should be scared.
Yeah.
If someone has Colorado, if it's whoever it is, if it's, let's say it's Miami and they got and Cristobal's like, well, Colorado's, guess what? Cristobal gonna lose his recruit to Colorado. It's gonna happen. Florida, you saw it. You saw it with your guy.
Really saw it.
Florida State, they already like, even though they're having success and you guys did your thing as LSU, y'all bust their ass. But like, I'm sure there's some Florida State people like, damn. He's a guy too.
Yeah, this with Travis Hunter, we be
imagine
number 3 in the nation
with the backing of Florida State and all that, with all the donors, and you got Dion there, and he's a Seminole. But you obviously you guys have figured things out. But there's a lot of schools that are just like, he might get a lot of people fired on the school because they're gonna be like. Yeah, he's gonna change it. People don't like, that. The people don't like change.
He literally said it himself.
In their ways, it's been college football has been this way and all that. People change it up and like, oh, he can't do it that way. Well, yeah, he could do it that way because he's Deion Sanders. He could do it that way. If he's winning football games, who
cares what way he does?
It's just people don't like change, especially in college football. Everybody likes everything. That's why people freaking out over conference realignment and all, because we've been so used to, ACC as this, the Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever you want, Big 12, Big 10, and all. We're so used to that when change happens, people freak out, and people don't like that. But guess what? That's what you have to deal with in life. Change, right? We don't like it sometimes. Guess what? You got to deal with it. You deal with it. You got to figure out how to recruit against Deion Sanders now. You got to change up your game. You can't just think you're Alabama, you're Georgia.
In a legal way too.
Yeah, you know.
We know, I feel like some of these schools gonna get caught up. We done seen a few self bans, or they like have to, they get banned from being eligible for a bowl game or something like that, or something comes out that they having dinners with God knows who. So they got to figure out at least a clean.
Dion may have got some other kids paid off because he might up the ante. They, we got to pay this kid extra because because we can't have them go into Colorado, so we might have to give this kid 2.5 instead of the one. We might have to up it up. Maybe some SMU shit all over again. They might have to do that because Dion, because kids might just take less to be like, oh shit, I just want to go play for Dion. He gonna make me a pro, and I'm gonna learn from the best in the best DB in the world. If you're a DB, that might be DBU in 10 years. So he's changing the game. People don't like it. Well, get over it. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Transfer portal, like with NIL, and all that, people freaking out. But guess what? Figure it out now. Just figure it out. You got to figure out how to deal with NIL and transfer portal. All right, it's here. So stop complaining. Stop crying. Figure it out. Same thing with Dion. He's here, and he won the first game of the year on the road. Now deal with it. Now figure out how to recruit against him. That's it. It's that simple. You got to figure it out.
Facts. I ain't got nothing else to say. You totally right, Chris. But I was gonna move on. I forgot that. I don't know if we hit on your Florida State Seminoles or not. I don't think me or Perez really want to hear it. But I'm gonna give you the stage to.
You should be happy. They did.
They look dominant both sides of the ball.
Yeah, first off, I know you guys got to say congrats because it's official. We're the best team in Florida. I forgot. It sucks that both of y'all teams are from Florida, but I guess it's kind of mutual.
Do we count Florida? The UCF might be better than Florida.
Nah. Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Maybe.
Give us a year.
You too, but
give us a second.
We look good. I wasn't surprised. I was just a little skeptical, like I am with the Jaguars. We had a lot of hype coming into the season. We look good at time, but it's still Florida State over the past 6 years. We haven't been good, but like we talked about, we just talked about the portal. The portal impacted us on Sunday. Keon Coleman, transfer from Michigan State, had 3 touchdowns. Jaheim Bell, he had 2 touchdowns, transfer from South Carolina. And our best player, Jared Verse on the D-line, he came from the transfer portal from the FCS school. The people they talk about, they can't play.
I got one of our guys too, right? One of our D linemen from Miami.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But just overall, man, we look good. We brought back a decent amount of people, but we had a lot of transfer portal guys take over the starters. But, we hit adversity early on. They had a big play, the second play of the game, I think, and we got a goal line stand. We got 2 goal line stands in the first half to kind of set the tone. And outside of that, when the second half came, we made adjustments, and it was a blowout from there. We outscored them 31-7, and that 7 they got in a garbage time touchdown. So overall, we just played a clean game besides one Jordan Travis turnover. It was kind of a bad play on the screen pass. But other than that, everything looked good. I would have liked the O-line to play a little bit better because I think we have the second or third best running back in the country, but he wasn't able to show it because LSU's D-line pretty much shut him down. But we were able to do things in the air and, just capitalize off some of the mistakes we made in the first half. And we look good. It was a dominating win. We look like we're the team in the SEC and they were the team in the ACC. So we're the more physical team. And when we can set the tone overall, not even in the trenches, that's always a good thing. And I'm just happy that we got this, out the way. This was our biggest test of the season, in my opinion, our hardest game of the season, and we made it look like cake. So as long as we, stay level-headed and don't get complacent, I don't like to talk about stuff like this because obviously we got 3 more months left and anything can happen. We could lose to Florida and Miami. But outside of Clemson, our schedule doesn't look too tough. So if we can play how we played on Sunday, the future looks bright.
Thanks. So you're not ready to stamp ACC champs?
Nah, anything can happen. This is football.
College football.
I remember the year my chain. They were 11-0 when y'all lost to Pittsburgh in the last game of the season. So.
Oh my God! I remember I was at work because that was an early game. That was like a 1:00 game. It was just a weird. I remember I'm at work and I got the phone and I'm like, I just have a bad feeling about this game. And we lost. We got destroyed in an ACC championship game. Then we got throttled in the bowl. I think we played.
I played at the crib too.
Yeah.
In Miami, y'all played like Wisconsin or something. I forgot.
Yeah, we played Wisconsin and destroy. I know we lost to Clemson. They killed. I expected that, but
that's when they had Buddy at quarterback. I remember that year.
Yeah, anything can happen though. So I'm taking it week by week. We could lose to Wake Forest. I'm not playing. But yeah, I'm excited for sure. Definitely excited.
You should be. What that before we go to the NFL, but what do you think has been the turning point for the program? Like it felt like a few years, not just the beginning of last year, like Norvell might be on the hot seat, and then y'all came into Coral Gables and gave us I wouldn't even count that as a beatdown. That was like in a straight that felt like when we lost to Clemson when we had Al Golden. Like we lost like 55-0.
I remember that. It was like 59-0.
Yeah, like 59-0, and he didn't even get to leave. That he got fired like out of the tunnel and all that. That felt like that bad and all that. It felt like you guys have ever since that game, like you guys have just been on a different level. Now you just destroyed a team that some people picked to maybe win the SEC, and you dumped them, an SEC team too, right? We always hear about SEC and all that, and it's like, oh well, you guys got that physicality back. So what do you feel like has been the difference, like the change in the program in the last year and a half?
It's kind of small, but it's a couple things. One, us like believing in Mike Norvell because some people fired him before he walked in the door, and like our players buying in. Obviously, with even basketball, if your players aren't bought into the coach, it's not really going to work. Them buying in, that was a big moment. Him getting the players' trust. The transfer portal was big for him because that was kind of like he's real good at recruiting, like really good.
Yeah.
Like we've had, I think, I don't know the last 2 years, but top 10 this year for sure. Like we got two of the biggest pass catching threats in the portal, and it showed the first game. And then the third thing, our biggest turning point, I think, like we were starting to believe coming into last year, but it was still Florida State. And when we won that first game versus LSU, kind of the way we won it, everything kind of flipped. Like even though we still lost to Clemson and Wake Forest, and we didn't beat the teams we were supposed to beat, we were just playing better. The team believed, they played more inspired, and it just carried over into the end of last year and then started into this season. Basically, those are the biggest three things. It's nothing too crazy, but just buying into the culture is big.
Yeah.
Like the kids in Colorado, they're winning and they're playing better because they believe in their coach and he believes in them. So it's just all about buying in and confidence.
Yeah, 100%. It's I think that's the biggest thing in college sports. If you trust your coach, then you're gonna play harder and you're gonna be willing to go through a wall for him. So if you don't trust your coach, then it's a wrap and all that. But it seems like you trusted because you said Norvell. It felt like people were firing him, and like it was like Dion or like remember everybody was like
he was trying to get replaced.
Yeah, but they believed in him and then they let him. They trust the process, and it looks like it might be y'all might be back. To those mid 2010s and all that when you guys got the championships in the playoff and all that stuff. But 11-11, man. Some saying that 11-11.
Yep.
11-11.
James Cook and Ramsey years.
Can't wait.
Hopefully, we'll see. Like we said, plenty of football left to go. But real quick, going to segue over to Week 1. I know everybody's excited about college football being back. Definitely excited about the NFL being back. I think all three of our teams, maybe y'all's too, is a little bit more than mine, are supposed to have big expectations coming into this year. So, of course, like I said, that's obviously Jaguars. Improved mightily last year. Had a chance to probably get to the AFC Championship if things might have went the right way. Added Calvin Ridley, did a few other things in free agency. Obviously, Prez team, another playoff team. Kind of escaped it one, I'd say, if the Vikings weren't so sorry. But escaped it one. Got your running back. Y'all don't want to pay running backs. Got a nice catching tight end, Darren Waller. So, and obviously the defense is back in style. I think I didn't really lose too many pieces. So, big expectations for y'all. And then my team just signed a bunch of people. Hopefully we're going to be okay with Desmond Ridder leading the way. But real quick before we get into, because we're going to talk about, I guess, a little bit, just preview Week 1, but also talk about our OTB and rankings that just dropped. Appreciate you appreciate you, Cruz, who put that together. It was a compilation of everybody's rankings of teams 1 to 32, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the 1 through 10 and see who just missed the cut. But just preview week 1. I guess expectations that you're going in with your team. I'll start with you, Thad. What are you expecting your team to do week 1?
Win the games we're supposed to win. I said this again with the Jaguars, and just like Florida State, you got to show me. I know people talking about number 1 seed, we're guaranteed to win the South. Y'all got to show me because I've never seen it in my life. We've had one good season, and then 2018 we fell straight on our face. So the Colts don't have their best player, Jonathan Taylor. It's a rookie quarterback, his first game ever. This is the best defense he's ever played in his life, counting college, high school, whatever it is. This is a team that's trending to win less than 6 games. Yeah, it's not a good NFL roster. They're not in good shape. Nobody wants to go to the Colts in free agency. We're supposed to win this game. We're on the road. We're coming off the playoffs. We should just handle business. I don't know. We're on the road. I just get scared thinking about the Jaguars because they always let me down. They always do. So as long as we just come in and do what we're supposed to do on offense, tackle. My biggest keys in the game, if I can talk about the game real quick, is to just contain Anthony Richardson. Rush the passer, but don't rush aggressively and,
overplay the play.
Yeah, overplay your lane and let him get out the pocket.
Yeah.
Because he will do that. And he's a big enough quarterback to where, DBs, it's not a guarantee they're going to tackle him. The little arm tackle stuff is not going to work. So if we could just spy him in. One thing I know, I'm not an NFL defensive coordinator, but do not run cover 0 and bring heat because if the defenders are man and they're turning it back to the quarterback and he
ran out about 15, 20.
In the history with the Jaguars, we're just never good against mobile quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, Steve McNair, any quarterback in the division that's mobile, they just give us problems. So we can play our proper assignments and just handle business, bro. Don't turn over the ball. Just get in and win the game and get out. I know it sounds simple, but the Jaguars just let me down so much, and I just know they're good for letting the sorry team beat them. So it's week 1. Anything can happen, though. That's the scary part. It's the NFL. A huge upset happens every year. When we go over the games, we're going to pick a team. We're all going to agree on one game, and it's not going to work out. So
Facts.
I'm just scared about what's going to happen in week 1, but I think we'll handle business, but I just don't know. I really don't know. And if we lose week 1, I'm going to be really sad about the season because then I don't know what's going to happen, and we might be the same old Jags. But yeah, what about the Giants? Because y'all are one thing before you talk about your team. I'm so tired of the Giants and Cowboys being a primetime game week 1 every year. I don't understand. It's not every year, but it seems like it's been
maybe feeling like it. Every year they do have one. It may not be week 1, but it's one of the games, and it might be two times. Obviously, they played twice, so it might be both of the games be prime time. But obviously, we get in week 1, Sunday night football this week. So, Prez, what you thinking? What you think about the matchup? It's a big one.
Listen, the Cowboys have kind of owned us for the last it feels like the last decade, but it's going to change. We're going to flip it. I feel good about this year. I like this team a lot. Feel like we improved on the offensive line, especially in the tier. We drafted a new center in the second round, Schwartz. We got Saquon back. We actually have a tight end. Darren Waller's there. Hopefully he stays healthy. But he's been our best weapon in camp. We have some solid, outside, threats. Hodgins really stepped up last year when we had nobody. Literally nobody. Isaiah Hodgins stepped up big time, so we got some, Slayton and, Robinson's coming back from the ACL, he should be something. The defense, I think, is going to apply more pressure than we did. And, it feels like the pass rush has really been non-existent since those days of, Tuck, OC, and, JPP and all of them guys. Dexter Lawrence is a monster. He got paid. Still got Leonard Williams, improved secondary. We drafted the dude from forgot his name, Banks from Maryland. I like it. I think Sunday night, like I said, it always feels like we play week 1 against the Cowboys Sunday night, but it's just a hot game and all that. It's just the atmosphere is crazy. So I feel good about them this year. I feel like Daniel Jones has legit weapons. Second year on the Brian Daboll. I feel like Daboll is QB whisperer and all that, and he definitely unlocked Daniel Jones. Offensive line's improved. You got Saquon back. We got some solid, weapons on the outside. The defense should be improved. The linebacking core is a little bit better. I don't know. I feel like the Cowboys are on the downside. Their offensive line's getting old. There's no more Zeke. You're going to rely on Dak. The defense is solid, but I don't know. I feel good about them this year. I think the Giants win the division. Actually, win the division.
Win the division.
I think they win the division. Yeah, I said it. I think they win the division. The Giants win the division. I'm putting all my cards on the Giants this year. I'm probably going to be wrong, and they'll go like 5-13, but I'm feeling good about it this year. I'm feeling good. I know it kind of feels like when the Giants made the playoffs the last time, and we played, and the Odell went on the boat that game. Some people might have that feeling because, we won a lot of close games and all that, and now we got to play a tougher schedule and all that. But I just feel like it's a different team, better leadership, and all that. And I think I think the Cowboys are going to regress. The Commanders, whatever. Eagles obviously have a good squad. I mean, that's the only team that I feel like. But I feel like they destroyed us in the playoffs last year. But I feel like we definitely learned a lot from that, and we're definitely a more physical team. From what I've seen in camp and all that than we were last year. So I feel good. I feel good about this. I feel good about them Sunday night, and I feel good about them in the season.
Yeah, I feel that too. Like you said, I think there's a little bit of a difference with some of the past teams that we've seen, like sticking to the playoffs or because have close wins and we're able to make it to postseason. Like I said, I think y'all got y'all a guy in Brian Daboll for sure. Like you said, he steered the ship. And like you were saying with college, it's the same way in the NFL too, a little bit. Like, you got to get the right guy to head a team in order to pause. You got to get the right guy to lead a team in order to get the full potential out of everybody involved, like you said. So I think y'all got y'all a solid little squad. Now, winning the division, not too sure about, but I think it's going to be. I think it's closer than a lot of people may think. Obviously, I think you Eagles, Cowboys are right there at the top. It could go either way.
I don't think the Eagles run away with the division.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they run away this year with it. I think on an earlier show me and Dad had, I said I feel like they kind of have a Super Bowl slump type year, to be honest, because they lost both of their coordinators. So I think that's going to – and they have to rely on – obviously, like I said, they have to rely on a lot of rookies. Even though they drafted well and they're all national champions, they're still, rookies. So I think – they have a little bit of a down year. I think that the division's a lot closer than a lot of people would think. And with my Falcons, just to end it off, kind of with that, so I kind of expect this. I expect us to do the right things. I don't want to see that Falcons shit to where we're turning the ball over or we're winning by 20, 30 points, and then they cut the lead down and then win on the last second drive. Tired of that. I don't expect that this year. But I'm really concerned because we didn't really see much of the starters play at all in the preseason, not even the last game. So this offensive explosion that we're really supposed to see, we didn't get to see much of it in the preseason, but I'm hoping it comes out somehow, some way in this first game. I think the Panthers will help us a little bit because obviously got a young quarterback. Their offensive line sucks, and I think Brian Burns is maybe not playing the first game, hopefully, because he's not getting paid. So that's just one less defensive threat that we got to worry about. So I'm hoping he sits out. And like I said, I'm not too worried about really everything else that they have offensively. I mainly just want to see a pass rush. I want to see clean play because this preseason we had a lot of turnovers. Typically, we're or at least under Arthur Smith, we've been one of these organized teams. So hopefully, we're not having penalties left and right because we had a problem with that in the preseason. So pass rush. Definitely got to clean up with the penalties. I'm hoping to see this unleash of an offense that we're supposed to have. Hopefully, hopefully Robinson goes off. Hopefully Drake London goes off because I have him on my fantasy team and we're playing for money this year.
More than one touchdown.
If he doesn't, I don't care. I kind of do care, like you said, and it's going to kind of come up with one of our topics later. But hopefully he's back to normal because I know his progression to get back to 100%. They didn't really cover it much. They wasn't really talking about it much, but I mean, he obviously played in the preseason. Hopefully he's 100% healthy and he's back from that knee injury. And I just hope Falcon fans give Desmond Ridder a chance. I think he, like I said in past shows, he's improved, or he improved each game he had last year. I know the talk of Twitter the last day or two is that he wasn't. It was like all that leadership talk, and he's not even a captain. I ain't focused too much on that. Like he's the second year. Like we've had veterans that's in place. Like I wasn't expecting him to really be a captain anyway. Bates, we now have Bates on the team, obviously. Grady Jarrett has been there forever. That's a solidified captain. Our offensive line with Matthews and Lindstrom, that was kind of set in stone as well. So hopefully we just come out and do what we're supposed to do. I expect to win. We're at home, and it's supposed to be a start to a new era. We better beat the Panthers and put our stamp on this division. So hopefully that's what happens. We don't know, but talk a little bit about our off-the-ball rankings. Like I said, shout out to Cruz for putting this together. Shout out for everybody that put their rankings piled into one. This is a combination of everybody's rankings, so averaging of everybody's rankings. So I guess this is what we have agreed on as a network in a sense. So 1 through 10, I don't know if it's that surprising, but anybody that pops out to y'all that may or may not be there or shouldn't be there or is too high, too low, anything at all?
No, I mean, maybe like a team like a spot or two lower, but I don't really trip over that. I know people like, oh, how do you have a team 10th? They should be 9th. Nah, that is like nothing egregious. No, I think I had something similar. I think it maybe had the same top 10 or maybe a little different, but just a couple different spots. But no, nothing crazy with the top 10.
Me, like I think who was it? Jeff had his power rankings. Like I'm not like nitpicky. Obviously, we're not perfect, but like I would just say some things I would have different. I think people are sleeping on the Rams and Pats. Like they're getting disrespected a little bit too much. I think they're better than like the Commanders and the Bears. But obviously, you never know. Chargers should be in front of. No, never mind. This is really tough because I would say Chargers in front of Dolphins and Jags, but they lost to us, and then the Dolphins have a really good roster. It all depends on Tua's health. For me personally, I have the Browns in front of the Seahawks, because I think they're going to be really good this year. I think Deshaun's going to shake back. And, I mean, I'm going to be honest. If this is everybody's rankings together, they're not that bad because I wouldn't move too much. Everybody's, like, kind of, as of now, where they're supposed to be. Obviously, it's going to change, but, like, if we had to make one based off last year heading into this year, I'd have most of them the same. Maybe the Jets are getting a little bit too much hype because maybe A-Rod, his play's declining a little bit, but then again, he's still A-Rod, and him declining is better than more than half the quarterbacks. So I don't know. It's not that bad. I probably moved the Giants at 29 from 16, but that's it.
You think you flicked that?
Nah, but
You just slipped that one in.
They're not bad.
Yeah, they're not terrible. I think from what I'm looking at, what I just pulled up, what I sent Cruz, and they're not too far off. I had my top 3 were KC, 49ers, and Eagles. Obviously, since he stuck in there at 3, I think I had them 5th and the Bills before them. Only because I guess how I was looking at it was just going into the season. Obviously, with we didn't know if Joe Burrow was going to be fully healthy, coming back or not. But I think he's good now. He's good to come back, start week 1. And then obviously just a few other things with moving parts with just like other teams. Like you said, I think I had the Jets either 7th or 8th, obviously. Mm-hmm. Baltimore, I had them. No, I just had Baltimore and the Jets flip pretty much. And that's just because of the new pieces added. I think the only one that's kind of high-ish that I didn't have was Detroit at 12. I think I had them at like 16. Yeah, I had them at 16.
Trying to figure out Detroit because obviously they got a lot of hype. Obviously, there's no Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay, so you can kind of eliminate the Packers. And the division, obviously, as a whole, is not good. But it's still the Lions, though. It's still hard for me to be like, because they got the talent that they're.
Yeah, just because like they're gonna possibly win the division, I'm still not gonna put them like power rankings wise. I wasn't thinking of it that way, I guess.
Yeah, like I still don't think they're 12th best team.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna win the division probably. Like they should win the division if they're healthy, relatively. But like 12th, I don't know.
Yeah, that was just a little too high for me. I think I had the Browns definitely in front of them. I had the Giants in front of them. I had the Vikings in front of them. at the moment. I think it was like one spot ahead of them though. But like I said, not too much to pick at. That was the only one that kind of stuck out to me. That was like they're a little bit higher than what I had them at. In front of teams like, possibly like the Saints are kind of like, they're almost like a boom or bust type team. Like they didn't lose too much on defense. And then obviously if Carr works out, they have Olave and Michael Thomas can stay healthy. Obviously Kamara comes back after 3 games. Like they're still set. They're still straight. They still have a good defense. So
isn't it crazy how like we're so used to the Patriots being like atop of that division and in like top 5, and like now it's flipped where the Bills, the Jets, and
all the other teams
are in the top 10, and we got the Patriots in the bottom tier of it. It's just crazy how stuff can change like that.
Hey, they deserve it though, because when Brady was there, it was literally the Patriots, maybe the Bills every now and then, or the Dogs. Somebody would sneak in one good season, like the Jets had them 2 years. But
they've had a little bit too much success for a little bit too long. So these last few years is kind of deserved by them. So
it was like the AFC South with the Colts. Well, they didn't do it that long, but when I was little growing up, it was the Colts, the Jags. Like the only way we were going to the playoffs was wild card. We were not winning.
Pretty good rankings. Obviously, we're gonna compile these and put them out each and every week. So obviously, this is gonna change week by week. Don't know how much. It will change. I'm kind of happy. I think I had my Falcons at 19. Got them at 19 here as well. So hopefully they move up the ladder a little bit more this season. But y'all make sure to check these out. So they'll be posted each and every week on our Twitter, Facebook, and website as well. So definitely make sure to check those out. But one of the few things that we wanted to do before we went into our pick'ems for the week, me and Dad kind of was thinking about like some of the players that need to perform this year, or have to have a bounce back year in order to kind of solidify where they're at in their careers, on their teams, whatever the case may be. So kind of hit on that as well. I don't know if you have 5 players in general with that, or we can just combine our top 5, whatever the case may be, or 3. I think I told you 3, but regardless, so we're gonna hit on like kind of top 5 players that need to perform, like I said, for their teams, like that have had either bad years last year or have everything around them this year in order to perform and to put their team in a good position. So Thad, I guess we start with you. I guess we can kind of go one by one each person. But Thad, what's one of your top 5 players that need to perform this year?
I don't want to do the obvious ones last. This is tough for me. All right, well, this is kind of a weird one. I was going to go Russell Wilson first, but I'm going to go Michael Thomas. He had a lot of good years, early on in his career, but the last couple of years have been pretty much injury riddled. Like he hasn't been himself. Maybe he slowed down, but past 2 years, nobody's really heard from him. Besides the end of that Falcons game when he was lighting y'all up, when they had that comeback. But yeah, like he was, I wouldn't say Hall of Fame track, but he was like a 100-catch guy for like 3 or 4 seasons straight. Like he was known as a really, really good possession receiver. And he's kind of fallen off. And I think this year with Derek Carr, like some people get on him because he doesn't like getting hit. If you watch Derek Carr play, like he would throw the ball away in a heartbeat, just like A-Rod. So that bodes well for somebody that's, a possession receiver. He doesn't run the most deep routes. Like he can hit him on a slant. He can hit him on any type of in route or whatever it is, and he can get it out quick to him. So I feel like outside of the tight end, that'll be like one of Derek Carr's best friends. Obviously, Alvin Kamara too, but outside of Alvin Kamara, maybe a tight end, he's going to be looking his way a lot. So I think he's going to have a better season because outside Drew Brees, this is the best quarterback he's played with. And it's just overdue because people used to talk about Mike Thomas always in the top 10, and he's nowhere near that right now. So he needs to have a bounce back season for sure. And he's getting older too. Like after this year, I don't think he's old. He's probably like 27, but still, like people are going to start forgetting about him really soon.
Yeah, that's true. Perez was one of your top 5 players that need to bounce back and they need to perform this year.
I think Mac Jones. I think this is a make or break year for Mac Jones. With the quarterback heavy, with the quarterbacks coming out next year and the Patriots potentially, like we just saw them in our power rankings. We have them in the bottom tier. So, they got a lot of uncertain. They don't even have a backup quarterback. We don't even know their receiver situation and all that. Juju Smith-Schuster, his knees are cooked apparently, and all that. So they could be a team that could, be in that top 5 hunt potentially. And if that's the case, that means Mac Jones didn't do enough, and they'll probably take a quarterback. But yeah, I think Mac Jones has a lot of pressure and all that, and he didn't play great last season, and like I said, with the quarterbacks coming out next season, there's 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks that could be first round picks as of right now. Obviously that could change. It probably will change, but if they got a potential to take a franchise, Drake May or even Caleb, if they're that bad, they're gonna do it. So I think this is a big time. He's got to step up if he wants to, be the starting quarterback for this team next year. So he definitely got to bounce back big time.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the players I was gonna hit on because, like you said, before we got on, I was like, a lot of them are quarterbacks. Unfortunately, I know we're gonna probably say a few names, in a second, but Mac Jones is definitely one of them because, like you said, there's a lot of quarterbacks that can easily replace him next year if you just, you get the right guy, a certain style of quarterback, surround him with certain receivers because the receiver course, like it's okay, but it's injury riddled guys for sure. Devontae Parker, Jimmy, like I said, Smith Schuster.
They're relying on Juju Smith-Schuster and Devontae Parker.
It's not looking good. Like obviously they brought in Gesicki, which I mean is a good pass catching tight end.
That was solid. That was solid.
Yeah, it's not a receiver, but they got some work
to
do on that
coordinator? Side. They have a real coordinator this year, right?
Yeah, Bill O'Brien. He's pretty good. Yeah. He's a pretty good coordinator and quarterback.
So they got a real coordinator.
I don't know what they were doing. Like they have Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as offensive coach.
Wasn't he a special teams guy?
Yeah, he was their special teams coach. Then he was with us for 2 years, and then they're like, "Yeah, you know what? We don't have a coordinator, so can you do it?"
It's crazy.
It's just weird how Bill does stuff. Like, and now that he doesn't have 12 to save him, it looks worse now, and it's like, oh, dude. You need to figure it out, or they might have to have like with the Giants did with Coughlin, we don't want to fire you, but you kind of got to go. So we're not gonna fire you because you will help us win 6 rings, but hey, we're the 4th best team in the division now. Everybody is way better than us. We got to change something up. Can't keep
wake up.
Exactly.
Sure. One of my guys he's on the screen. I got to start with the home team. We actually got a few guys, but I'm only going to name one on the team. But Kyle Pitts, not really a bounce, but he has to have a big year, in my opinion, if he wants to get paid. I'm sure someone will pay him, but if he wants to get paid by us, obviously, that horrendous contract that was just given out about a week ago to TJ Hawkinson kind of reset the market a little bit. So I'm sure he's going to be wanting somewhere around that type of money. Younger guy, probably a little bit better of a pass catcher as well, and he's a pretty decent blocker too, but obviously, injured last year. Said the year before that, I mean, his best year obviously was his rookie year, just over 1,000 yards with a few touchdowns or 1 touchdown, I think. So he had a solid rookie year, obviously out pretty much all last year, and then this year, he has Desmond Ridder as his quarterback. I know a lot of it's going to be dependent on Desmond, which is unfortunate for Kyle, but he definitely has to, he has to live up to the number 4 pick hype. Unfortunately, it's not fair to him, but I feel like that was still the right pick to go at that moment in time. But he has to perform. He has to live up to that pick. He has to produce for us offensively. And he has to be the player that we all expect him to be coming out of college. Like I said, a lot of that's dependent on Desmond Ridder and how Arthur Smith uses him and everyone in the offense. I think he likes bigger, aggressive receivers, mainly because he likes to move everybody around and he likes kind of like a positionless type thing on the offense. So he's probably going to not only obviously have him lined up as tight end spots, he's lined up on the outside before. So he's going to use them in different ways. But obviously, like I said, a lot of it's just depending on how Desmond Ridder plays. But hopefully he's able to stay healthy for a full season. I know it's not his fault. The way he got hit, I kind of expected him to kind of be out that entire season and tore something. But hopefully he's able to stay healthy. He's able to have a bounce back year and help us and that offense be a little bit better. So he was my 5th player. Thad, you got any more?
Oh, yeah, I have a couple more, but I'll just do one more. I got Jonathan Taylor. We know he's a good player, but he needs to perform for the sake of his NFL future and for running backs. He's fighting for running backs. What was it? His first year was decent. His second year, he took off. He was in the MVP race, and last year he was injured a lot. And Colts had just like a terrible season overall. That was the worst. They ran through like 4 or 5 quarterbacks. They gave Jeff Saturday the coaching job. It was a hot mess. But like me personally, I feel him because I feel he's done enough to get paid, even though he hasn't done that much. Like I think he just means that much to the team. Like he's the best player outside of Darius Leonard and DeForest Buckner. But this is his 4th year, so he's going in a contract year next year. Mm-hmm. I know he can get tagged, but it's weird. I have a question. I'm tripping. Like I know football, but I don't know the contract thing completely. Since he's a 2nd-round pick, they can still tag him, but they can't like the 5th-year option thing is off the table. Like after the season, do they have his rights? Can he be a free agent or can they tag him?
They could tag him, yeah.
Again? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I was going to say he was free after this year be different.
Yes, I think
your option, like first rounders.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he wants any shot at a long-term deal, I think he really needs to ball out. The Colts, obviously, I think they're trying to do it the right way. They're trying to, not pay him early. But for the sake of his future, if he has another injury-riddled season, why would they give him $12 or $13 million a year? What he's looking for? They might give him a 1-year prove-it deal or tag him. So I think he needs to have a big year. And I don't know what it is for running backs, but they're going to have to try to beat the system. Like the first 3 years, you really have to ball out because teams will make you play out that 4-year contract, tag you once, tag you twice. Now you're 27. We don't have to give you a long-term deal anymore and let you go, fetch your way to 1-year deals for the rest of your career. So you gotta beat the system some way and try to get paid early by either coming out really young, not getting a lot of touches, coming out as like a 20-year-old or something. I don't know. But it seems like once running backs get to 25 or 26, teams start to think that that's the new 35, and they don't want to give any more long-term deals because they think at the end they think everybody declines at 28 or 29 when it's really, in my opinion, like 30, 31. But he's going to have a breakout year for him to get paid. And I know the Colts, he's a good player, but availability is very important. And if he's not available to show that he's the best player, why would the Colts pay him like he's one? And I'm all for anybody in the AFC South, falling out with their best players. So, but Jonathan Taylor definitely has to have a big year.
For sure. Prez, who you got?
I know there's obvious ones like, Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson and all that, but I'm going to go with Chase Young from the Commanders.
Actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had a lot of hype coming out and all that. Well, rookie of the year. Obviously, tore his ACL, and I didn't know he also messed up his patella tendon too, so that kind of messed him up. So I think it's a biggie. They didn't exercise his 5th-year option and all that. So this is a big year for him. A big prove-it year. Because if he does have a big year, he'll probably get tagged, and whatever the tag is for, I'm sure. For pass rushers, it's probably a big number, so he'll get a nice chunk of change with that if he has a big year. But he's talented. He's super talented, but the injury that ACL really messed him up. And and they paid what? They paid Jonathan Allen. Montel they picked up. They have a lot invested on line. He was supposed to be the guy on that line.
Yeah.
So.
Him and Sweat together was supposed to be that
him
team.
Sweat, and Jonathan Allen, that was, who's the other? They have someone else, right?
Deron Payne.
Yeah. So they have a nice defensive line, if they're healthy and all that. And Chase is supposed to be that guy, but I think this could be a big year for him. And we see guys in contract years tend to ball out, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's healthy, that he has a monster year and all that. But this is definitely a big year for him because he has a monster year. He could, he gonna get franchised, and he has another year. He can be $100 million man, or we could see him bounce around the league, and he'd just be like, what if? He could be. It's either one or the other for him. So big year for him. Big year, but he has the line to have success. It's not like, he's just him. They got, he's not gonna see a lot of one-on-one. So there's an opportunity to have a big season for him. He's surrounded by a lot of talent, especially in the interior. So, we'll see what happens. But I low-key root for him, because I don't know. I was mad when the Giants won that game against Washington and they got the 3rd pick instead of the 2nd pick. we want to take an Andrew Thomas, which we
He's
just
good now.
it worked out actually.
Yeah.
Because we just paid him, and now he's like one of the best offensive, best young tackles in the league, best tackles period in the league now. So we kind of lucked. It kind of worked in our favor, but I'm still rooting for him. I think he's a good player, and I think there's still a lot of talent in there despite some of the injuries. So, he's definitely someone that could have a bounce back season.
Yeah, he was another guy on my top five as well. But definitely Chase Young, like you said, just because they declined that 5th-year option, he's been injury ridden. Like I said, he was highly touted coming out of Ohio State. He's supposed to be, like you said, that guy, that next pass rusher, that next generational pass rusher.
Yeah.
So
he could have a Clowney type of career where
I was just about to say that. I literally was thinking
he could, because Clowney keeps getting jobs, and then he's like, he's never
it's like he's good enough to get a job, but
good
it's
enough
like
to get a job, but like you're always like, man, what if? Like, because Clowney is like, we keep living off that hit he had against Michigan, it's like, and he's always that like he could have 15 sacks in a season, but he has 8, and it's like there's something missing, and that could be Chase Young's career where he's always gonna get a shot because of the talent. Like Clowney keeps getting shot because of his talent, but it's always going to be like, well, he had 6 sacks this year. He probably should have had 12, 13, and it's like, because you see the moments, you see the glimpses of like, and that's what pisses me off about Clowney. Like dude, you could have been he could have been, what Bosa is like, but it just never happened.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. And then I guess I'll finish out with one. Like you said, it's a bit obvious. One's like a lot of them are quarterbacks. Like you said, Russell, Dak, Mac, Justin Fields. We ain't hit on him. I think he definitely needs to have a big year. Obviously, because they just spent so much to put pieces around him to perform offensively. Like now, it's not much of an excuse. He has DJ Moore. He has Chase Claypool. He has a nice little tandem in the backfield. So he has guys around him to help him be better. The defense isn't a slouch either. So, but my guy, I'm going to go another running back as well. He doesn't have too much pressure, but a little bit, because I think he's probably one of the sleeper but big components of this offense is going to help them go. But J.K. Dobbins, obviously they spent a 2nd-round pick on him. I didn't even realize he's going into his 4th year as well, but he's kind of been injury ridden too. I know he was available a lot his rookie year, but they didn't play him much. I forgot who they had in the backfield. I want to say Gus Edwards and somebody else, but they basically had starting running back. Oh, Mark Ingram. I think it was Gus Edwards and Mark Ingram.
Yeah. Then he went to Miami for a little bit.
Yeah. So he didn't play much his first year, but then when he kind of broke out to see like a few games, you can see flashes in there, but then obviously the ACL. And then he kind of had a slow ride getting back. And I think last year he finished out the year pretty strong. But I think, he's like 24, 25, something like that going into this year. Like that just said, like 24, 25, 26, that's when they start looking at running backs and like, you're old, we can replace you in the draft, or we can sign another one somewhere else. Like they're not going to pay him big money. But I think he's a big factor in how that offense is going to go, because obviously they now have pass weapons around Lamar, but they're not going to go away from the run game completely. And you want to be able to take some of that pressure off of Lamar. Shouldn't have to be the one having to run and throw all the time. So having a healthy JK in the backfield, I think will be good, not only for obviously that team and how they're going to run, but obviously for him as well, if he's looking to have somewhat of a decent little running back contract. Don't know what that market is going to look like for him when that time comes, but he's going to have to perform and stay healthy in order for that to even be a possibility. Like I said, we've seen flashes. He finished out the year strong last year. And if he's able to do it this upcoming year, who knows? Like I said, he may sign another contract with them. That offense may continue to go, but I think he has to have a big year in order for them to, to be what we think they're going to be. I feel like obviously, running backs there's so many running backs out there that can probably replace him, or like I said, they obviously have Lamar, but I think more so for him individually, it's going to be a big year for him, but also like whatever he does, if it is productive, is going to obviously help that team be the offense that we're expecting them to be this year. So he was one of my guys as well. But yeah, like I said, obviously I'm sure we have more guys who probably hit on this little bit more tonight, but do want to finish up last thing we are going to do before we head out. I know it's getting a little late. Got to get our pickups in for the week just because I know we're going to be busy. I'm be in Vegas, probably taking all of hopefully our betting guys' advice, and hopefully I'm going to win some money. Ken did say parlay Jags and Falcons to win the division. Think later. Obviously, that's a long play, but I'm looking for some quick cash when I get there. So we're going to do our pick'ems real quick. Going to run through them real quick. Obviously, it's official me that I always do our pick'ems for the year.
I'm going to go back in and show and keep track too.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Now we keep track. We've been keeping track, but this year, I think we're going to do. Last year we was going to implement a punishment each week. Whoever lost. We might do that this year. I might do it halfway though, because I don't know. We may get some crazy punishments that me or him may not want to do, but we may implement that this year, depending on how this week one goes. But real quick, Dad, run through your first game. We'll just run through them. Kind of, we may give a little quick synopsis. But Detroit, Kansas City, Thursday night game in 2 days. Who you got?
All right. If Travis Kelce and Chris Jones don't play, Chris Jones probably not going to play. I'm going to go with the upset in Detroit. I think they're going to come out ready, hungry, and not a Super Bowl hangover, but I think Kansas is just going to come out slow, and Detroit's going to take advantage. And if there's no Travis Kelce for real, I don't see Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney beating them. So I'm going Detroit.
Press, who you think wins?
The Kelce injury is definitely big, but you know what? I'm still going to go with the champs.
Hard to bet against them.
Yep, they still got 15, so.
Yeah.
They'll make it work somehow. I kind of want to lean that way as well. I definitely understand the points. Like I said, Detroit probably coming out ready, hungry. But I'm not going to go against the chance. They haven't given me a reason to pick against them as of yet. Like I said, those are obviously two big stars that they're going to be missing. It's going to be hard to make that up. Like you said, they really don't have a number one option at receiver. Sky Moore, Scout is with MVP, or however you say his name, Scanlon.
Yes,
and Kadarius Toney, like you said, I don't really see how they get that done. But they got 15, so they're gonna make it work. Kansas City for me. Carolina, Atlanta. Of course, I'm gonna go with my boys. We're at home. It should be a statement game. Like I said, it's week one, but we need to win that game. There's no way around it. You beat Carolina. Like they're supposed to be a bottom 5 team too. Like you beat Carolina. But Dad, who you got?
I hate doing this, man. I'm gonna pick against Atlanta later on in the season, but I'm going with the Falcons for week one. I think you guys just have the better roster. Some questions with Brian Burns about him playing as well. So, we'll see. I mean, I would love for Bryce Young to throw for about 350, but I just think the Falcons are going to be a sleeper team this year. So yeah, I got them week one.
Prez, rounding out with 3-0. Sweet. Appreciate it.
Sweet.
I appreciate the love. Because you really could have went the other way, but I appreciate it. Cincy, Cleveland, that's one of the bigger games for sure. Might take me a second to think on it, but I'm gonna go with Cincy. Like it kind of makes me mad how good they've become and how quickly they became so good. It's just the hater in me. But if Joe Burrow is playing and everybody else is playing, I expect, like you said, that Cleveland's going to be a really, really good team. They got a really good defense. And if Deshaun can return to any form like he was in Houston, they're going to be a problem. But I'm going to go with Cincy for week one. I know it's on the road as well, but I'm going to go Cincy week one. Who you got?
Yeah, Deshaun Watson redemption tour. I got Cleveland week one. I picked this a long time ago, but I got Cleveland. I think the AFC North is going to be they're going to beat each other up. So
yeah, that's going to be a tough division.
But yeah, I got Cleveland at home. And first off, before you move on, Cleveland always gives Joe Burrow problems. Like I think he's 1-3 versus them in his career, or something like that. But he always has his worst games versus Cleveland. So yeah.
Perez, who you got?
Yeah, I think Chubb has a big game, week one. They're at home. I think Watson. We still don't know which Watson we're gonna get. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen Deshaun Watson, play at a high level. But I think he bounces back, and I'm going to take Cleveland.
Okay. I feel like I'm the only one on the Cincy train this time. Jacksonville, Indianapolis. I think you already said it earlier, Dad, but it should be a sweep. I'll go with Jacksonville.
If we lose, you guys will not hear from me until Overreaction Monday, and then until the
You're
next.
gonna hear from Stu. That's the worst part. Forget about the lose.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Stu. 5 minutes into the game, he's gonna give up on the season, talking about they should tank for another quarterback. So I'm not worried about that.
That is facts. He's probably gonna definitely overact about Anthony Richardson when like he's a rookie, bro. Like let him make his mistakes. But Tampa, Minnesota. It's going. I feel like it's going to be a bad game. Like it's not going to be.
I don't even care about this game. This is not.
It's not going to be a good game.
I know there's another game like Arizona Washington is bad, but I might have like some. This one is just.
I forgot who that was that said that game might be a tie. I think it was Cole. He said it might be a nice
tie.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I ain't mean to curse, but this is a tough one. I really feel like Tampa doesn't have a terrible roster. I mean, it's not the same, and I know Tom's not there, but they still have Mike and Chris.
They got Baker Mayfield quarterback, bro. Come on.
That's what I said. They got
all right, you're right. And I don't know who's covering Justin Jefferson, and I think Jordan Addison is going to have a great year as wide receiver too with all those double teams. So I got Minnesota.
Minnesota should win comfortably.
They should. I'm like I said, I already took them, but I expect them to. Who got next? San Fran, Pittsburgh. Or we got Tennessee, New Orleans. My fault. I feel like that might be a tough game too. Like Tennessee, like we haven't talked much about Tennessee whatsoever, D-Hop sign or anything like that. But I mean, they have an okay offense, and they always seem to come through defensively. Like obviously they're well coached. Like they just seem to surprise you. Like they always just stay around. Like they're never too bad, and they're never like really good. But they always pull out like certain wins against certain teams like this. I don't know. I'm gonna go New Orleans only because they're home, and I'm expecting them to have a decent year. Like they're not bad. Like Derek Carr is in a pretty good situation, so I'm gonna go New Orleans for Week 1. I think it's a close game though. Who you got that?
I want to pick the Saints. I think they're going to win, but I'm going to go with the Titans in a little. Not even an upset. Like you said, people always sleep on the Titans because they were trending downwards last year. But as long as Vrabel's there and they have 22 catching the ball, it's just going to be tough to beat them. Like they will milk the hell out of the clock. They'll find any way to beat you. Like you said, the defense. It doesn't matter who they have out there. They're going to play. I don't know. They play assignment football. So going with the Titans.
Yeah, I don't trust the Saints. I'm not a Derek Carr guy. I know Tennessee's on the down, they're trending south, but I could see this being a game where Derrick Henry reminds people that he's Derrick Henry and go for like $175 and just go crazy.
Yeah,
so,
like that one
I got that gut feeling that he's gonna do something crazy and have one of those games, 2-3 touchdowns and all that. So I think they still got talent. They got some nice young receivers. I'm gonna go Tennessee with the upset. You want to call it an upset?
Yeah, I'm on the other end of a lot of the picks today, but it could work in my favor. It could not. So we're gonna see after Week 1. Like you said, overreaction Monday comes around. But San Fran, Pittsburgh. I'm going San Fran for the first game. I know still a little bit of question about. Well, not a question about Purdy at the quarterback position. Like even if there was questions there, I'm not betting against that defense. And with a healthy McCaffrey, Debo, everybody else, they'll make plays. All you just gotta do is get the ball in their hands. So, but Pittsburgh this year isn't no slouch. Their defense is really solid this year, and then offensively we expect a lot from Pickett, and Najee too. But I'm gonna go San Fran. I think just the experience. Well, shit, can't even say that. Obviously, coaching wise, it's going to be a battle. I think it's probably going to come down to coaching. It's going to come down to a few key plays. But I'm gonna go San Fran on the road.
This is one of my other upsets of the week. I got Pittsburgh. I've been calling this one out for a while. I think T.J. Watt and I forgot the other dude's name. I know they drafted Nick Herbig too, the rookie, 4th-round rookie, but they're going to be on Purdy's ass, I feel like. Pittsburgh's a sleeper team. They got running backs. They got receivers. Offensive line's got a little better throughout the draft, and the defense is always going to be straight. And I don't think Brock Purdy's seen a safety like Minkah Fitzpatrick, and I think he's going to play with him a little bit. I could see him throwing a pick or two. I know Purdy had a great rookie year, but there's still going to be growing pains. And I'm not saying, obviously, they're going to have to bench him. But I don't think he's going to lose some games this year, and this is going to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see Sam Darnold this year play a lot of football.
I think he'll play a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think eventually you'll get. Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, I think.
But
think Sam's gonna
think immediately.
Starter. I think Pitt wins this game. I think Pittsburgh. Like I said, Minka Fitzpatrick might make Brock Purdy's day very difficult. Watt's back, healthy. Pittsburgh's always. We can never count out Pittsburgh and all that. We want to, but they
got really close games.
They're at home too. I didn't even know that they're in Pittsburgh too. So
yeah, I think Pitt gets the upset, if we want to call it upset too. But I don't trust the quarterback situation.
Yeah,
I don't trust
San Fran.
I feel like Shanahan has botched the quarterback situation, and because they just have so much talent everywhere else, they've been able to make up mask for that. But like, he's botched the quarterback situation terribly. Him and Lynch have messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
And if there were any other team, they'd be getting killed. But because they have talent everywhere else, but they've probably cost themselves a Super Bowl or two because of the quarterback stuff. So, and it seems like this is the year where they probably, I don't know why they didn't go after Aaron Rodgers. I still don't get that. That doesn't make any sense. Why they did not go after Aaron Rodgers? I never will understand that. Like, he's from California. Wasn't he I don't know. That never made sense to me. Like, never made sense. So, like, I don't get that. Like, why they didn't, like, you're a quarterback away from literally maybe could win back-to-back Super Bowls. Like, I don't get why they didn't. It doesn't make sense. So it just bothers me because Shanahan has been messing up. He's cost. You know what
I know.
He's cost
we love that
in the past. He probably should have two. And then the one with the against the Chiefs where he was up 10 and he just like forgets how to coach in the fourth quarter. But he's botched the quarterback situation. I think I know everybody's on the 49ers because they got a great team overall, but they got great linebackers. Warner's a beast and all that, but that quarterback to go into that season with that quarterback situation when you're literally like on the cusp of being a Super Bowl champion, contender. I don't get it. Aaron Rodgers is right there for you. Like, I'll never get that. And if the Jets do anything this year special, like if they win the Super Bowl, like Shanahan should get fired. Like even if they win a division, no, he should get fired if Rodgers.
Off the simple fact that Rodgers is in the deal.
You could have had him. Like, you can't tell me you could have made an offer. Like, and you can't tell me he wouldn't have been like, yeah, of course I would love to go there. Like, I could win a Super Bowl. Like, it's like the only team that's interested after that was the Jets. It's like, I'll never understand it. I was like, why aren't they going after Aaron? Like, they don't like Trey Lance, obviously. Why not go after Aaron Rodgers? Like, I don't know. I won't go. It bothers me. Every time I see Shanahan, I'm like, you're an idiot. And him and Lynch, you're just idiots. But whatever. Like, I hope they lose.
Great.
Like, it just bothers me. Like, if we're all GMs, let's be real. If we're GMs and we're like, yo, Aaron Rodgers is done with the Packers, should we not go after him? Because, like, if he's on our football team, we're winning the Super Bowl. That would be my mindset, but whatever. Hey, Brock Purdy. All right, cool. Sam Darnold. You're gonna rely on Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy to try to get you a Super Bowl. Good luck with that.
Good luck
with that. That's crazy. It's just crazy to think you're gonna go and with a Super Bowl ready team. I could do a whole podcast about it because this bothers me so much that they did not. Aaron Rodgers is right there. He's still Aaron Rodgers, and you didn't get him. California kid. It just made so much sense, but Shanahan and Lynch. They get away with so much stuff. They get away with too much because Lynch is not a good GM. He really isn't a good GM. But whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's just somehow because they relocated. Wasn't it a few years ago they weren't able to hold on to
we drafted Solomon Thomas too.
Yeah.
You get away with two.
It's whatever. Yeah, I'm all for Kyle Shanahan failures like that. I can watch that all day. Keep those coming. I'm cool with it.
If it's gonna be it's gonna be this year.
Yeah.
Because you relying on Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy. Good luck, my man.
Yo,
good luck.
All right, last weekend I think we hit the mid part, but last few games I think we got was it Arizona, Washington for me. That's going to be another dud.
That's a tie.
Definitely a dud.
That's
but I'm gonna go with Washington.
Yeah, Washington should win there.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
we don't
Washington
know.
for me.
Who's the starting quarterback for the Cardinals? Is it Dobbs?
That's what it's Dobbs. Yeah,
they cut McCoy, right?
I think so.
I don't know what they're doing. They like he was there the whole summer, and then they cut him like in the middle of training camp. I was like, bro, what the?
He tanking. They're going for Caleb. They're gonna get rid of Kyler.
Yeah,
which is another franchise that just messes up quarterbacks every time. Like,
hey, I love it though. I love it.
Let's see where he
better. I want every team that has a solid quarterback to mess up the situation. I get like people don't like Kyler, but I feel like a lot of teams would be fortunate to have a quarterback that talented. I know he's not like a dick, but he's not the best teammate. He's not the best teammate, but he's a good player. Like I've been watching him since he was like 14, and he makes plays, bro. He has a bad attitude. He doesn't watch film, but he got
little when you got a bad attitude in the NFL. You can't be little and have a bad attitude like that in the NFL.
Yeah. I know, but it's just like the fact that people act like he's just like nothing. Like I can name half. He's better than half the quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. So
yeah, nah,
I just don't.
There's talent there. He's gifted. It's just, I don't know. It's just a weird situation, and then you surround them by like you don't have a lot of talent anymore. Like it felt like they had a lot of talent 2 years ago. Now they have like the worst roster in football. They just traded Simmons to us. Like for a seventh round pick, like
Chris.
They messed up big time, but
do you remember this though? I know both of y'all remember. Like when that draft happened, everybody wanted Isaiah. Not everybody. Yeah. He ran that.
I was hoping he fell to him. I was
hoping I wanted him on the Giants in that draft.
Bro, he was the pick. I think he went the pick before the Jaguars. Like I was just praying that he would have fell one more pick. But I'm glad that draft was terrible for us too. So no matter, we deserved it.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then. I mean, y'all got y'all a young because I think he said he wanted to play safety, but they was keeping him at linebacker or something like that. I don't know, something crazy.
The Cardinals had him playing strictly safety. But he was like he's a blitzer. He's a hybrid. Put him. Put him
on the field and just
figure it out.
Get ball. Yeah. Like sometimes it's simple, but the Cardinals because they're just a horrible organization. They just don't know how to develop players. They didn't know what to do with him. So, like, it's simple. You'll put him on the field, make a play, bro. That's it. Make plays. We don't need to do it.
I have the perfect D coordinator for that, too. Wink loves the blitz. Loves the blitz.
You can have so much fun with him.
Yeah, moving him around.
Around. So many packages for him. Like, he's still getting acclimated to the system and all that, so he probably won't start right away, but he's going to play. Like, by week 2, he's going to get the system and he'll be up for us. Yeah.
You know what happens with that though? You know what happens with that? Like when you don't know the system like that, okay, just go get the ball. Literally.
Exactly, right? You get ball, right? And that's because he started the first preseason. Like when we traded for him, he played that next preseason. I think it was against we played the Jets or whatever.
Yeah, because he got a pressure.
Played that next preseason game, and he made some plays and all that. But once he gets comfortable, and because Wink has a multiple different fronts and all that. And with Thibodeau and Ojari and all that, we're going to be able to do a lot of fun stuff defensively. So, but the Cardinals game for nothing, 7th round pick. That's crazy. I thought that was a typo. Like, nah, 3rd round pick. I'm like, the Cardinals just don't give a damn no more.
Unloaded everybody.
It's crazy.
Well, but nice little piece for y'all. Houston, Baltimore. Yeah. Green Bay, Chicago.
It's a lot of questions both ways for me. Like, what is Jordan Love going to look like? Is Chicago going to take that next step? But for the sake of week 1, I'm going to go Chicago. But I think it's going to be a really good game.
I go Chicago. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going Chicago, too, because they're at home. But like you said, I think it's going to be a good, close game. Divisional battle, obviously. But I think Chicago. Should be a little bit of coming out party. Hopefully, we just see good things from the offense and good things from Justin Fields. That's what I'm hoping for. Vegas, Denver, another one that kind of has questions both sides, but I think I'm gonna go with Denver too.
Yeah,
I go Denver. I think it can't get worse for Russell Wilson. Like it can, but I can't see it being worse than what it was last year with Nathaniel Hackett as the head coach. Like he's got a real head coach, Sean Payton. You know, things are gonna get better. You know, Williams is coming back from the ACL. You know, I know Judy's gonna be out. But they still got some solid. They got that. What's his name? That rookie they drafted. Mims. Yeah, I think it's Mims and all. But
Mims, yeah.
He's fast. You know, so they got talent. The defense is solid. You know, I feel bad for the defense last year. I felt like it kind of had some low key like 2000 Ravens vibes where like they're dominating and like the offense is doing nothing. But it was just worse because you have like a quarterback you invested crazy money and draft picks on. So, but Denver they should win. They should have a bounce back. So and the Raiders.
Devontae, I know he's punching the air that he's stuck. Devontae's sick that he's stuck in that.
Yeah, Devontae, man. Yeah. I mean, he's still gonna ball out and all that, but
I think he wants to win though. Like, I'm not saying he's old, but he's not that young guy that needs 120 catches. Like, he wants to win at the same time, so he's not worried. He already got the stats.
Yeah. He got his he wanted to go to the Raiders. No, he should have just wait and just followed Aaron to go.
Yep, exactly. Just wait and follow. But it's whatever. He got himself in that situation. That's where he wanted to be. Philly, New England. Philly.
This is my third upset of the day. I think I called 3. This is my third one. I think the Pats are going to beat the Eagles. This week 1, Bills had all year to prepare for Jalen in that offense. I think they're going to give them trouble. And I think they're retiring Tom's jersey or something. They're hanging it up somewhere. So that's going to be kind of lit. You don't think so?
He should have this whole jersey wrapped around the stadium. Like it should be every day should be a jersey day for him. Like,
oh man.
I hope it is an upset. I hope the Eagles lose every game, but I think the Eagles take care of business. I don't know what this Patriots team is. I just don't get it.
And that Eagles roster is crazy.
Their roster is just it's just all types of nasty. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles.
Yep. Miami Chargers should be another good game for the day. I'm kind of stuck on that one. I'm gonna let you go first, Dad.
Who won last year? The Chargers won last year. I would not bet on this game. I'm gonna go Miami. I think
the over. I'll take the over on this.
Yeah.
It's week 1. We're not playing defense. It's week 1.
There's no defense in week 1. It's gonna be a fun one. I'll go first. I'll take Miami. I think I love this Miami team. I love it. I know relying on Tua's health is the biggest concern, but even if they put Mike White back there, he could fling that thing. You know, he had his moments with the Jets and all that. So that madman they have as a head coach, you know, I think their defense is solid and all that. I like Miami. I think Miami they upset the Chargers, and I like Miami a lot this year. So I'm gonna
agree. I'm gonna go with Miami too.
They'll have Jonathan Taylor by week 5 anyway too. So
hopefully not that.
They need to just do that because that monster
solidify everything.
That if they want to make Tua's life somehow as easy as possible, go get Jonathan Taylor, and now you'll have monsters, just all speed everywhere. So.
I don't know. Something's telling me the Chargers for some reason, and I think I'm gonna go with in these type of games. I go with the home team for some reason, but I know they still have.
They're the better version of the Falcons. They just
they are the Falcons of the West. They find a way to lose.
Yeah,
they do. I think I'm gonna go with them just solely the fact that I think they have playmakers at receiver, and I know they have a solid secondary, but I feel like the Jalen Ramsey's injury is going to show and hurt a little bit more than what we're thinking.
Week 1 too.
Miami had,
Yeah, I think it's going to hurt a little bit more than what we're thinking. And obviously, Herbert can sling the ball around as well. They obviously drafted Quentin Johnson. They got Mike Williams. They still have Keenan Allen.
they got Palmer too. They got a nice.
Yeah, they got some nice receivers. Like they got some guys that can spread
Everett
the ball
there
around.
too,
Like
right?
everyone,
Tight end.
I think Gerald Everett's still there too. Yeah.
He played
yeah, Everett. Yeah, I'm gonna go Chargers. I think they win.
It's weird though. Like Jalen Ramsey, he matches up real good against the big receivers too. So that would matter for this game.
It
like
would
Mike
matter.
Williams, the dude from TCU, Quentin Johnson on the team too. So it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, I think that's where the downfall is gonna come. So I'm gonna go with Chargers on this one.
Yeah.
Rams, Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know.
The quickness that we all said it with. I don't know. I think like Dad said we're sleeping on the Rams. I mean, I think they could make it a game, but I'm gonna take Seattle. I think they could make it a game.
I don't think Cooper Cup's playing, bro. He would like.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, I think they said he might be ready, but I guess I don't think. Yeah, he's probably not.
Even if
they're gonna be ready for to be a host next year, and all that. He ain't going through this tank and stuff. He's too rich for that.
Yeah. Dallas Giants. We already know where Perez is going with that one.
On the G, man.
I give the Giants a chance because they're at home. It's week 1. And I'd love to see the Cowboys go 0-1 and then like the topic on ESPN be like, should they move on to Trey Lance or something? You know, some bull crap after 1 week.
When I'm gonna get
Trey Lance starting. If Dak has throws an interception late and the Giants win, the Trey Lance stuff is going to just go happen. It's not gonna stop.
I'm gonna go Cowboys though. I think I'm gonna be honest. Like I know we didn't really talk about this. We didn't have like a preview show to like say the Super Bowl champ. But I think if any year, I really think the Cowboys are gonna go far. Like I think they're gonna make it to at least the conference championship this year. I have a weird feeling. I don't know why, and I hate the Cowboys, but I think they have a good team. This is the year.
This is it. Like if they do get it, it has to be this year. I don't think after this year. Like I don't see it happening. Like if they are gonna make a run. This is the year.
You gotta be
good.
We're saying the NFC is so weak this year. I feel like it's not gonna be like that for too much longer. Like I think next year or two, it's gonna turn back over to where it's a little bit more balanced between because honestly the AFC has probably like 8 to 9 teams right now fighting for them 7 playoff spots. And NFC, we're like what we're talking about. We're talking about
we had Geno Smith starter in the Pro Bowl, like
exactly. We're talking about We're talking about Seattle being a top 5 team in the NFC possibly. So, if any year, it got to be the Cowboys' year this year to make some type of noise.
Right, because who would you say is the best quarterback in the NFC right now? What is it, Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, it's Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts probably.
That's crazy to think. Like
Jalen Hurts
one good season, one really good season, and then we look at the AFC. And like Justin Herbert might be like the 5th best quarterback, and he's probably the best in the NFC. Like it's just crazy, like the quarterback discrepancies in each conference. Like
it's weird. So like, it got to be this year. I don't know. I think it's a tough game too. I didn't realize it's a good amount of tough games this week 1. I want to go with the Giants, but like I feel like my morals won't allow me to do it. So I think I'm gonna go Cowboys too. Like you said, it's going to be a close game, though. But I feel like the Giants are going to win, but I can't pick them. I just can't pick them. But I feel like they are going to win.
Don't trust them.
I don't know. It's just something about the Giants. Like going into this year, I feel like they're going to put it all together and they're going to just be a solid team. But I can't pick them. I'm going to go Dallas. Buffalo, Jets. We got.
This game gonna be wild because listen, it's September 11th. It's in New York.
2 New York teams. Yeah.
We got two New York teams. You know, I can imagine the tailgate that. I've been to Jet games, but I haven't been to a Jet Bills game, and I can imagine how crazy that tailgate's gonna be. At my life, but the atmosphere is gonna be crazy. A-Rod's first game, but I kind of feel like Buffalo is kind of being slept on this year, which is kind of crazy because a lot of teams we picked them. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. thought they're gonna do it last year, but like they kind of slept on. Like people like, oh well, they're not riding it with no more. They, Josh Allen and all that, with the weird stuff going on with Diggs, but I feel like they're kind of being slept on a little bit.
They definitely are.
So, but this is tough. But you know what? I think they ruined A-Rod's home debut, his first game as a Jet, and I think the Bills. And remember the Jets beat them last year at MetLife, so I think they get revenge, and I think they show people that they shouldn't be being slept on because everybody is kind of forgotten about the Bills, and like they still have a really good football team. So I'm gonna go with the Bills.
I don't know, man. This is like, if I do any betting this week, it's not going to be on spreads or anything. It's just going to be like prize picks, fantasy, because I'm not. These games are too hard to touch. I can see it go either way. Like the Bills have had so much talk, like just because they lost in the second round, it's the way they lost too. But like everybody quit on them. Josh Allen's automatically behind Joe Burrow. All this stuff. Like I feel like they hear all that. Stephon Diggs doesn't want to be there. I mean, I don't know. And then the Jets, like everybody, all right, defense was good last year. A-Rod did get there, but everybody's like they're skipping the line. They're top 7 team already. They're picking in the division. They haven't done anything.
Yeah.
So like I really don't know which way to go, but I'm gonna trust my gut and I'm gonna pick the better football team as of now. Like they've all played together longer. I'm gonna go Buffalo, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets like kind of like blew them out because they did add A-Rod. They added Dalvin Cook too, which is a sleeper. And if they have the two-headed monster, like Brees Hall looks how he did his rookie year with Dalvin, gonna be tough to stop. But I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo's motivated because that last game they put on tape was pretty bad. They got smacked around by Cincy.
Yeah, definitely. Same thing. Everything that you said. That it's just like it's kind of like one of those things, like you said, just one of those teams that got too much. Well, I guess what college football is too much preseason hype. And then I feel like they're going to go out there and just, like, lay an egg. And we're just like, well, damn. I mean, we expected more. But it's like, if you think about it, yeah, like, they added A-Rod. But it's like, they're still very young. Still young coach.
It's crazy how young they are. Like, they're very young. So, like, that's
they're
a
very
fact.
young but very talented.
And you add everything that Rodgers has brung coming from Green Bay, and now you add New York to it, and now it just leveled up. Now you got we got to see how Sauce is. Sauce is living off the nickname, right? And like, can he still live off that that All Pro year one? Like he's gonna get tested, and now that there's more hype and all that, Garrett Wilson and all, like there's a lot. So like, can they handle that New York pressure? Because think about it, last year they were under the radar. But this year, all the hype, and you know how it is in New York. If the Bills smack them, you're gonna hear it after just one game. You're gonna hear after just one game. So like, there's pressure for the Jets. So like, they haven't been used to this for a little bit, So like, this comes with a lot. That's why I feel like the Bills is like, they just should they should like this because all the pressure's on the Jets. September 11th, Aaron Rodgers' first game is at home. And it's Monday Night Football. Look at those 3 factors. And you in New York. That's a lot of pressure for.
It's a lot to get the dub.
That's a lot. And the Bills, they get disrespected because they are actually their only real New York team because the Jets and Giants play there. So,
New Jersey,
so like they live off that, right? And that's a real thing. Bills fans take that personal, like they take that real personal and all that. So, and they bring a good they got a good crowd. Bills, they travel well.
Bro,
yeah, they're gonna be all up in that city.
But it's not close. Buffalo it's in New York.
Hours.
It's like 5, 6, 7 hours. Like it's not close at all. So like, but they travel well. So out there.
I learned the hard way when they played us in the playoffs in 2018. Like it wasn't bad, but it was like 25% Bills fans. Like they travel deep for sure.
Yeah.
They're low-key like Steelers fans. Like Steelers fans travel really well.
They weren't even good at the time though, so I imagine now they're good in 2018.
Yeah. They travel well. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jets. but I can easily see them losing. Like you said, it's just too much pressure for one game, I feel like. And they always say everybody's folding under pressure, but it's a lot of storylines just going into that one game. And like you said, based off the results, it could be a lot of storylines coming out of it as well. So we're going to see. But I'm going to go with the Jets for the sake of the pick'ems. We have a lot of differences in our picks this week. So we're already starting off week one. It could go one way or the other. We don't know. But definitely a good slate of games that we're expected to have, and I can't wait for Sunday to roll around. Like that said, I'm probably going to stay on prize picks this week, just player props. I'll hit Bovado next week or something like that. But appreciate you, Prez, obviously for hopping on, being with us for some college football talk in week one, the NFL preview. Of course, shout out what you got working on. Obviously, the tags. Obviously we know where to find all of our work at, and obviously we'll hit on that at the end of the show. But anything cooking up that you got going?
I did a show with Iron Eagle, last week.
Yeah.
So if you want to check that out, he was really dope, and kind of like his story of how he led to, getting the NFL and CBS job, and, working for the Nets. And then now he's going to be doing the Final Four, taking over, for Jim Nantz, which is pretty cool and all that. So check that out. That was like 45 minutes. That's one of the better shows I think I've done, real fun. And he's just a really cool dude and all that. So check that out. Obviously, me and Kev are going to be starting to get a bucket soon, get into our college conference preview, and get into, the high school recruiting season and all that. We'll probably hopefully get something started this week. My work schedule has been crazy with this new job, so I haven't been able to I have barely even tweeted, let alone put a podcast out, but basketball season's been a little quiet so far, but you know how that all we need is a Woj bomb, and then it gets back.
Back.
Whatever Damian Lillard's doing, we're waiting for him to stir up the Twitter sphere and all that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can follow me at Off the Ball Pod, and Off the Ball OTB_network on Twitter. Check out the website. Obviously, we got a lot of good stuff there, and the YouTube. Follow us on YouTube and all that. YouTube is going up, so yeah. Appreciate you having me on. I don't get to talk a lot of football, so when you said you were doing something, I was like, let me see if I can hop on and talk some football. So appreciate you for having me on.
For sure. Like always, welcome you, and of course any of the OTBN guys. And then who knows, we may start doing a thing where we bring some fans on here and there to maybe get something off their chest after the week is over. So we'll definitely be on. Like you said, we're back to regular scheduling program. Now that football season's back in full effect. But like Prez said, definitely follow us and follow the guys on O2BN on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Obviously, Omar puts out great articles pretty much like every day. Prez just did like you said, show with Iron Eagle. I think the Hoopers got something cooking up coming in about 10 days.
Yeah, they got some dope coming.
So that's definitely going to be dope. Definitely watch out for that. Ken shows in the morning, and Phil Stormers is back as well. We're locked into that. Definitely locked into that. They just did a show, I think yesterday, that I got to watch. So definitely check that out as well. But yeah, you know where to follow us. All the tags are down below. Anything before we head out? Anything you got there?
No, really just looking forward to this podcast season. I like when football season comes around, I'm a little more active, and my team's winning. Every team I pull for is good. Jaguars, the Braves, Florida State. The Magic gonna be okay. We're turning upwards, so that's all that matters.
Hey, Magic.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to everything.
Got a squad.
And I just think I don't know. It's gonna be interesting because Jaguars are gonna be winning, and I'm gonna be unbearable. I'm gonna be talking my shit the entire year, and I haven't been able to talk my shit since I've been in this chat. So they're gonna have to deal with me. And when Trevor Lawrence is top 3, top 4 in MVP voting, it's going to be a long season for people like Prez. So I'm looking forward to the show. This is where I'm going to bring to you my emotions, my crying, and my shit talking. So I'm just looking forward to the season. But that's all I got.
It's supposed to be a good year for both of us. So hopefully that comes to fruition.
You're going to see Tony Khan do a press conference crying about his quarterback. That man emotional, man. You see how he handles his wrestlers, and that's pretend and all.
I don't get into any of that stuff, man, with them. But They like to spend money, so I'm okay with that. Any
No, they got
they
money.
love to spend money.
The money they got is crazy. The fact that he can give his son, like, all right, just start a wrestling company. Go get away. Go start a wrestling. I'll give you $100 million. Go. It's crazy.
Nah, man, I'm just looking forward to everything this football season. I feel like, I mean, obviously we always have this long break, but I've kind of missed it more this year. But maybe it's because my team's like, I'm excited for the season.
You know, it's a random thing. You know, because you know how Tony Khan, he owns AEW. So WWE, you know how they have when the guys win like the Super Bowl and all that, they give them the belts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Jaguars declined that. So because obviously it's weird, like WWE is giving the Jaguar, and then the owner of the Jaguars owns their rival company. So like if the Jaguars win the Super Bowl, if it does
They
happen,
don't get no
you won't
belts.
see them wearing WWE belts like Patrick Mahomes was doing with the Chiefs and all that. So that was funny when I saw that because everybody has their own belts on the website except for the Jaguars.
Oh, I saw somebody that's into wrestling saying that, but I didn't understand what he meant by that.
Yeah. Because every time whoever wins the championship, have you seen WWE gives them the belt. They give them a customized, like the Chiefs. They got their own. You saw Patrick Mahomes holding the belt. So if the Jaguars win the Super Bowl, you're not going to see them wearing the championship belt because their rivals are out. The AEW is owned by Tony Khan and the Khans. So
it's all good.
That was funny. I saw that.
No, it's all good.
AEW belts.
You're gonna see Trevor Lawrence with the AEW belt, which it don't look as
it
good.
Don't hit the same.
It's a little sporty, but that's just a little weird. That's just a little thing. Like they can't wear that.
Hey, we're going to know that wrestling is fake anyway, so we don't want to wear that belt anyway.
Tony Khan with them crackhead eyes, like
He's always.
Did you hear what happened to him? Not to get off the ball. You heard what happened to him? I don't know if you know the wrestler CM Punk. So they got it. They did a show in Wembley Stadium.
Yeah,
80,000 people, and obviously he's the show. He owns the company, but he also writes. He's the lead producer. So what happened was CM Punk. They got into an argument. Some dude got into an argument with CM Punk, and the CM Punk apparently threatened him, and so he went on TV the following this past Wednesday and did a whole like a 10-minute saying his life. He feared for his life, which it's not. He didn't really fear. He like did his whole exaggerating like thing, and like it's and you see his eyes just like this. I feared for my life. I thought I was gonna get. It's like, bro, come on now, stop it. You got all these big ass wrestlers on there. You fear for your life, and CM Punk is not a big dude. Like, he's probably like 5'10", like.
He's not bigger than some of the other guys.
He's not intimidating. It's not like it was like like the Big Show. Like coming at you, like we like, oh wow, chill, I ain't messing with this. This guy's 500 pounds, 7 foot. So he feared for his life. He said he feared for his life, and all that. It is funny and all that. And then he did the whole thing with the belts. So that was funny.
He just needs to worry about running the franchise and running his wrestling team and staying off social media. He's arguing on social media too with like
that a lot. He argues with a lot of wrestling like people. He'll argue with them and all that. Like,
that's when you have money, you feel entitled. I don't know what it is with him, but they do a good job running the team. I actually met his dad when like they first like took over the team. I was young. It was like 2010 or something like that. But,
crazy money, man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we don't got to worry about none of those AEW belts.
You don't got to worry about the championship belt anyway. So
no. Hopefully that's coming next one.
You said when we got like the AFC is crazy. I'm gonna say this before we get off. I think that we go to 2 in the Trevor Lawrence era. We go to 2 and we win 1, but we lose 1 in the 10 years. I know I sound crazy, but
it's crazy.
And the Chiefs are going to Super Bowl this year too.
That's crazy.
Chiefs are going to Super Bowl this year too. That's
the hot take.
Yeah, they're not going to Super Bowl. They're not coming out of the AFC.
Chiefs.
They might not even make it to the AFC Championship game. It might be Jacksonville and Cincy or Cincy and Miami. Yeah, Cincy and Miami. But yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm talking shit all Sunday, bro. I'm not saying nothing to Studio because he's gonna start crying, but I promise you, I'm being Walker's ass because he's gonna be crying. Like the Titans are gonna win and Walker's gonna be like, "We shouldn't have won. We played terrible." I don't want to hear it.
Walker's a character, bro.
You gotta worry about Walker or Ole Miss because he's feeling himself after the Mercer win.
73-7, yeah. Like, what are we doing? Why are we
It's just
playing
the thing
versus?
with Walker is like he's so emotional about so many teams. He has like no family to do it. He was so mad that TCU lost to Colorado. It was just funny to me. I don't
You
know
got a
why.
Dion. See, it's the Dion effect, though. People don't like Dion.
He's like, this is more about TSU than Colorado, but
Yo,
whatever.
what?
We're gonna make this about. We ain't saying not a word about Dion. He said it's gonna be about Dion, but
It's
whatever. I
not
was
like
like,
it's
bro,
some
we're
people
just
500 yards and
we're just
5
saying
touchdowns.
Travis Hunter is making good plays. Like we're like, shit, they were just threw for 4 touchdowns. We ain't say nothing about Dion. We're saying the players out here making plays. It's crazy, but enough of that. Like I said, you're gonna see us a lot more throughout the season. Weekly shows, from all the guys are definitely coming.
Yeah,
But
see you
appreciate
Sunday, Reaction
see-
Monday. God,
Oh yeah.
coming up.
Oh yeah, like I say, hey, overreaction Monday. Definitely, I'm gonna be on some of those this year. The schedule's free enough, so definitely can't wait for it to come around. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate everybody for retweeting, liking, watching the show. Like I said, we'll catch you guys next week, and have a good one. Peace.